No rehearsal. Yeah, bro. Take it personal, cause the devil is a lie. Hey, man, I'm telling you the truth. Hey, it's all in what you do. Hey, some things you got to do. Hey, 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 hey. Barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. So I'm gonna do this video because I'm gonna speak from experiences and losing out on deals. And oh man, I tell you, I've missed out on so many deals, man, by having an ego. I tell you a great story. There was if you guys know LA, there was a building on Hyde Park in Crenshaw. The shit was about $400,000, dog, about 7 years ago. And I didn't get it because I got into a disagreement with the seller. I mean the agent. And I thought they wouldn't treat me with the respect that I deserve. 5 years later, they break ground on a train that's going down Crenshaw. Building is worth $1.8 million. Would have bought it for $400,000, man. Come on, man. You can't make this shit up, man. 4, 8, 12, 16. That's 350% increase just holding the building for 5 years. Now 7. Now 7. And that's what I want to make sense to Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford. And I actually love them brothers, man. Obviously, I root for Spence more. I've been around Spence far more than Crawford. And I think that at the end of the day, the fight has to be made. The variables remain the same. I intentionally put that thumbnail so people can see Earl Spence got 2 belts, Terrence Crawford got 1. Because if you're just going to talk about 135, you might as well always go back to the amateurs. Well, Earl Spence was a better amateur. You know what I mean? What's the cutoff? What's the cutoff? Like, you know what I'm saying? I respect everything Terrence Crawford has accomplished. But I'm gonna tell you this, Terrence Crawford. If you don't make this fight at 147, I'm telling you and I'm not sure if your circle of influence gonna tell you, your friends gonna tell you Fred lying, he ain't shit. But listen, you're not gonna get the respect from the people in boxing because guess what? Hagler fought Leonard. Guess what? Floyd ended up fighting Pacquiao. Mike Tyson ended up fighting Lennox Lewis. The list goes on. Whether it's too late, whether it's like Tyson don't get the respect, because everybody knew it was a money grab, and we didn't care. We just wanted the names on the bill. And I say this: we all know Bob Arum doesn't tell the truth all the time, right? It's well documented, historically proven. His history proves Al Heyman doesn't talk. So we don't know what he says or what he does. Only Earl Spence, basically. And I'm assuming I'm going to be presumptuous and say he trusts Al Heyman because he's still with him and he's made a boatload of money. And Terrence Crawford is making great money. Well, I got an idea. The Ali Act allows you to take your talents anywhere you want to go. You still got to pay Al Heyman. You still got to pay Bob Arum. But instead of percentages, y'all agree to the fight and negotiate what you believe you're worth. And the fight gets made, if and we'll never know. So let's say Terrence Crawford says, "Shit, I want $12 million." Earl say, "I want 16." We'll never know. We'll never ever know. Or you can negotiate your own deal with the network. And that's the problem with these fighters. They don't deal with the network directly. They go through Bob Arum and they go through Al Heyman. The fighters need to start dealing with the networks directly. And even if you don't go with Triller or Fanmio, or you can even do it through Instagram. Mark Zuckerberg about to fight, y'all. I mean, let's call it a buck. I'm not sure if he likes boxing or interested, but if it makes dollars, it makes sense. Anyone to put up 20 million to make 30 million, that's like common sense. So I said that to say, because I think long term you guys are going to have a bunch of fighters and people are going to trust you with their careers, and so it's good practice. Go to Thriller, go to Fanmio, and just negotiate the fight. You don't need Al Heyman. Earl Spence Sr. can go with Earl Spence Jr. Father son, and Terrence Crawford can go with Bomac, and they can go and just practice making deals, and see how it works. Because it doesn't have to be on Fox, because obviously there's 1.5 million people on Thriller just waiting to watch another fight. And guess who's fighting next? One of the Jake Paul is fighting April 17th. So let's say hypothetically you guys fought Juneteenth. That's 2 months from there. You guys fought Juneteenth on Thriller, on Fanmio. You got a built-in audience. They do some shoulder programming with y'all, with Logan and Jake Paul, and you grasp a percentage of their audience, and two, your presence validates him as a fighter. Y'all build off each other, and you put the fight on. And two, honestly, Thriller knows what the fuck they doing. As it pertains to the entertainment portion of it. That card was pure entertainment. We were greatly entertained that night. If you wasn't entertained, if you didn't laugh at maybe 2 points at that event, you're lying. It was very entertaining. It was aesthetically pleasing. It was black with the white lights, and it looked like a movie set. It was beautiful. You know how them old school movies and shit, where the mic comes down, it kind of looks like the old Madison Square Garden a little bit, with some more contemporary dazzles around it. They had concerts. Maybe you put on a card on Friday. They got B&B promotions. They got Man Down promotions. Y'all put a card on Friday together. You put a concert on Saturday. You got Zab Judah doing the interviews and shit. I mean, how much more cooler can it be? Think outside the box. Think outside of normalcies. I think, like, I'm not saying that y'all gonna do it. I would bet that y'all won't do it, but just the idea of thinking outside the box would be a benefit to both Spence and Crawford, because Earl Spence doesn't know how much Fox is giving Al Heyman, and Terrence Crawford will never know truly how much ESPN is giving Bob Arum. But if y'all two go to Thriller and make the deal without a middleman, you'll know exactly how much you're getting. Because Thriller is just waiting for it. Thriller is waiting. And maybe they have Mike Tyson to fight in August. So if they got the Paul brother April, they got Spence Crawford June 17th, and then they have Mike Tyson August 17th. Oh man, you talk about the infrastructure. And this is just framework. I don't believe this is going to happen. This is just framework, but it's the conversation to begin to start thinking outside the box. And if you guys want a great example of this, Don King with HBO. Don King went to Showtime. And boom, now we got Steven Espinoza in 2020. Some guy bent a piece of metal and created an airplane. Some guy built an engine. They put it in cars, and now we can go drive 3,000 miles. It's endless. So everything that we see and touch on planet Earth started here with the ingenuity of a genius, and that being y'all. So start thinking outside the box and start thinking long term. Because if you're thinking long term, if you want to do the Floyd Mayweather play and do a deal with Showtime, just as a viewership, Floyd actually can do his fights on his Instagram and get more views. That would be the more appropriate thing to do. But he won't put up the $100,000 to put on the card. Like those Sam's Town fights. That would be most beneficial. But at the end of the day, I think that boxing needs an overhaul right now. I think, and check this out. Remember when the zone came in? Eddie Hearn came in 1000% wrong. He came in as an elitist, and people of I was gonna say people of color. And the reason why I wanted to say people of color because you got South America, and obviously it was a slave trade there in South America. But I'm just gonna say people of color because I don't know if I'm gonna say black people. Excuse me. He came in the wrong way, but at the end of the day, I would say 80% of my external visual stimulation is on my phone and on a computer. So it's app driven, you know. I don't know what the so I would say like my basic TV, I don't get much, you know what I mean? Everything and when I'm watching TV, because now I have YouTube TV, I don't even have cable anymore. Um, I push to my phone. So I have apps on my TV and I just go to the YouTube TV, click that. Amazon Prime, click that. Netflix, click that. I don't even watch 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. ESPN is an app for me now. It's on YouTube, whatever it is. So we got to start thinking outside the box. And the execution was done poorly by Eddie Hearn. And I think that because Deontay Wilder, and now I'm adding Deontay Wilder to the mix, and you got Earl Spence, y'all can be the new wave. Y'all can be the new wave and set the standard and set the tone. You ain't got to go to Showtime, and you ain't got to go to uh ESPN or Fox anymore. You can build your own infrastructure with your fight. The same way Showtime did with Floyd Mayweather. And they built up. They on the fifth fight, Floyd Mayweather fought Manny Pacquiao. That was the plan the whole way through. They built up the fighting infrastructure. They built it back up, then boom, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather. And there you have it. So at the end of the day, I want to encourage them. And I've been saying this for some time. I'm encouraging y'all to get this fight done because the the damage that y'all can possibly do in the open market in terms of fan fatigue. Oh man, I mean it's irreversible. Um, and that way you'll never know how much you're getting. In my personal opinion, I believe Earl gets more because one, he's a unified champion and he has a tougher resume. Um, but if y'all go straight to the network, if you go straight to the network, you can negotiate your own price. And then Triller can say, well, we got Earl Spence on board. How much would it take, Crawford, for you to come on? Or we got Terrence Crawford on board. Or y'all niggas go in together and have unified power. Earl can go get Dallas Cowboys Stadium, make the deal there. They're not playing there in June. Terrence Crawford has great friends. And once the fight is announced, man, you pay your favorite celebrity, you pay Yellow Beezy to put on the show. You built that. I'm sure Terrence Crawford got some rapper friends. Um, you obviously want Snoop Dogg a part of it. He's a part of he's becoming, well, only one fight in, but it's exciting to have him. He's a part of the fabric. Um, I mean, you get Rick Ross or since the fights in Dallas, Yellow Beezy. I don't know. I don't really know like all the rappers down there in Texas. I just know Yellow Beezy because I know Earl. But start thinking outside the box and start thinking through perpetuity. Don't just I would encourage Earl and Terrence, don't just think this fight when you're making this fight because this is your legacy fight. And you may go on to bigger fights. Earl may go on to fight Canelo. Terrence Crawford may go on to fight Jamel Charlo. Or vice versa. Terrence may go up to fight Canelo. I don't know. I'm just saying, think perpetuity, think control, think power, and you guys gonna win. Be the dealer, not the player. All right, control. All right, Shuffle your own deck of cards. Don't allow Bob Arum and Al Heyman to shuffle the deck. You shuffle your own deck. Whether they're good or bad businessmen, you can eliminate the middleman by going to Triller. And if you have a percentage that you owe Al, which you probably will, Earl, if you have a percentage, Terrence, that you owe Bob Arum, you negotiate it, man. You send the money to B&B Boxing, turn that into a nonprofit. And you only getting $2 million for the fight. You pay Bob Arum off the $2 million. Anyways, man, in 3 years, I'm gonna be the baddest man in boxing, man. I just gave y'all so much game in this video, too much game. I mean, god damn. I mean, I'm willing to bet no one's even said that to any of them. You know what I mean? And I say it because I love y'all, because I want y'all to get the money. Get the money. It's important that you get the money, that you get this bag, because next year it's gonna be less. The fight ain't getting bigger. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now, because I don't think Terrence Crawford can knock out anyone that can get us more excited. Who can he knock out? Realistically. I mean, not unless he just rolls through a Keith Thurman, quite possibly. But I think maybe stopping Sean Porter, but it doesn't go astronomical. You know what I mean? Where there's not too much you can add to the resume. People may say Manny Pacquiao. Maybe Manny Pacquiao jolts it a little bit, but it's not like astronomical where it's like, man, he adds like $10 more million to this fight. I don't think so. I think he adds some luster because the resume, but I don't think Crawford and Spence are fighting enough to make the fight bigger. You know what I mean? I don't think personally that Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford collectively do enough media to make the fight bigger. I think it's a big fight. When the fight is announced, it's going to get bigger because now we have a finish line. And I think that's going to be, when the fight is signed, it's going to explode. It's going to explode. And y'all going to be rich forever, like Rick Ross. Terrence Crawford's going to be rich forever. Earl Spence is going to be rich forever. Not that they're not now, but I just don't want them to miss the opportunity because of ego. I think if Bomac called, I don't even know. Like, I don't even. Sometimes I'm I'm keep it I always do. I don't understand. I don't even want to make it because I want to keep it optimistic. I'm going to digress and keep it optimistic. I want you guys to get the money. Okay, Triller, Fanmio, and upstarts like DAZN, when they overpaid for fighters. I'm not going to mention names, but they overpaid for a lot of fighters because they didn't know what they were doing. Well, guess what? How about you call Roy Jones as an individual and just say, did you make over $2 or $3 million for that fight? And he'll keep it a buck with you. You know what I mean? That way you have a barometer. Talk to Mike Tyson. He's in the honest space right now. Just have private conversations with these guys so you can get a barometer. Mike Tyson wouldn't nearly made as much money fighting on Showtime or Fox or going through Al Heyman or Bob Arum. He did it on his own, and they played it. They built it up, then boom, it worked out. They went super viral, and now Triller got a motherfucking cult classics right now. You know what I mean? So anyways, man, barbershop conversation. Hopefully this video helped. And we going live on this subject tonight, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And y'all let me know how you feel. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.